strong. He's got Darachek. He takes it.
Oh, man. No.
Comes McGrady. Oh, he just sucked the gravity right out of the building.
For three. Yes. McGrady for the win. Yes. 1.7 to go.
Tracy Mcgrady is one of the most beloved players in NBA history. He was an electric, high-flying, and extremely skilled scorer that even Kobe didn't want problems with.
But the guy that always gave me the most problems actually was Tracy Mcgrady.
Tracy Mcgrady?
Yeah. Tracy McGrady, man, had all the skills and all the athleticism, but he was 6'9", and he was really, really tough to figure out.
But a sad fact that plagued T-Mac's career was injuries. He was supposed to be one of the greatest players of all time, and because of injuries, we never got to see it unfold. Life was never fair to McGrady, but what if we could go back? What if we could have a non-injury prone, fully healthy McGrady? Instead of T-Mac's career being followed with a what if, McGrady is actually able to fulfill many basketball fans' dreams. Before hopping into the simulation, if you enjoy the content, make sure to subscribe, because you're not going to want to miss high quality videos like this, trust me. Without more time wasted, let's get right into it. Starting in 2002, in a land without LeBron, D. Wade, and Carmelo, we have a young Tracy McGrady and Allen Iverson on top of the league. Both of them leading the league in scoring and each bringing in new fans who love their style of basketball. McGrady and Grant Hill end up beating AI and the Sixers in a great regular season game. McGrady, with a fresh pair of knees, looks to take over the league. Jumping forward, the Magic in real life were a 42-win team in 2003, but now T-Mac is able to lead Orlando to a 44-38 season, tied for the best record McGrady had with Orlando in real life. Grant Hill still gets injured, and Orlando still loses in the first round, but instead of losing to Detroit, they end up losing to the Jason Kidd-led Brooklyn Nets. And the San Antonio Spurs still end up winning the championship. Tim Duncan still wins MVP, and Amari Stoudemire still wins Rookie of the Year for Phoenix. But don't worry, big changes are here. Remember, we're going into the 2003 draft class where LeBron ended up going first overall to Cleveland. Many say this is the greatest draft class of all time, and we are bound for changes because the Knicks traded Latrell Sprewell mid-season to Seattle due to attitude issues. Because of this, the Knicks end up with a top 3 pick in the 2003 draft, but the biggest change is Miami winning the draft lottery.
With the first pick in the 2003 NBA draft, Miami Heat select LeBron James.
That's right, LeBron James is going to Miami off the bat. Many were speculating the Knicks to draft the electric kid out of Marquette, but New York already has a shooting guard in Allen Houston. The only position that they don't have is a forward, so the Knicks end up getting Carmelo Anthony. But now that Cleveland doesn't end up with LeBron, the Cavaliers select another high potential young prospect. Yep, Dwayne Wade and LeBron end up switching spots. And to round out the draft, Darko still goes to Detroit, Chris Bosh goes to Utah to eventually replace a 39-year-old Karl Malone, and Toronto falls to the 11th pick and selects David West since they couldn't get Chris Bosh. In free agency, the biggest moves were the Clippers signing Gilbert Arenas to pair up with Elton Brand, Ron Artest joins Chris Bosh in Utah on a 4-year deal, and a 34-year-old Gary Payton goes to Denver on a 3-year deal. The Magic new pickups have led Orlando to improving drastically, winning 53 games when in real life they won only 21 games because of injuries to Grant Hill and the rest of the team. Rookie Kendrick Perkins is forced to start for Orlando since they really have no other option, and Orlando is missing that true point guard or big man in the lineup. It seems like Orlando will be a good regular season team, but not good in the playoffs since all you really have to do is stop T-Mac and Hill, if Grant Hill is even healthy. The best team in the league record-wise is actually the Phoenix Suns, with a explosive offense being led by Stephon Marbury. Marbury isn't no Steve Nash, but he's shown flashes of great facilitating. Stephon is as explosive as ever, while having the best passing year of his career. Now in the playoffs, against one of the worst playoff teams of all time, LeBron in just his rookie year gets past Indiana and leaves Miami to the second round. After beating the 8th seed Chicago team, the Magic faced off against Milwaukee. As said before, this Magic team may be the first seed, but they are extremely vulnerable, resulting in a somewhat expected upset. The Bucks beat the Magic in 6 games, and it's clear that Tracy Mcgrady needs more help or more time for his young teammates to develop. In the finals, Shaq and Kobe get their first ring since 2002, and Shaq caps off his amazing season with Finals MVP and regular season MVP, while LeBron is awarded Rookie of the Year after his amazing rookie season for Miami. In the 2004 NBA draft, the Wizards get the first pick due to the team struggling in Michael Jordan's retirement season. Dwight Howard ends up going to Washington, and Ben Gordon goes at 2 to Atlanta, and plenty of other league-altering moves, including Josh Smith getting traded on draft night to Cleveland, where he's going to pair up with D. Wade. And with Orlando failing in the last couple seasons, they go out and make a huge move. Steve Nash signs with the Magic to make a big 3 with McGrady and Grant Hill. Now with the superstar facilitating point guard that can set up McGrady in his spots, anything is possible. Other free agent signings is Manu Ginobili going to Memphis to pair up with Shane Battier, Carlos Boozer, and Pau Gasol. Lamar Odom joins Jason Richardson and Al Jefferson in Golden State. At the end of the regular season, the Steve Nash experiment in Orlando started shaky, but the Big 3 ends up clicking to a 58-win regular season. With Grant Hill staying relatively healthy, the hype around Orlando was massive going into the playoffs. With their second straight first seed season, Orlando has real expectations. Orlando gets past Chicago once again in the first round, but then they had to get through a one-man wrecking crew. Dwayne Wade in just his second season has been dominant the entire year, averaging nearly 30 points as a sophomore. With McGrady versus another star shooting guard, T-Mac had to show out, and he did just that, scoring 42 points in Game 6 to close out the Cavs in Cleveland. Orlando was on fire going into the conference finals against New Jersey. Steve Nash actually did have some issues. Jason Kidd was playing amazing defense on Nash, but the Nets had a bigger issue. Tracy McGrady was killing them in the series. With T-Mac on fire, the Magic beat the contending Nets team in 5 games. For the first time in his career, T-Mac is in the NBA Finals, one of the highest watched Game 1s in NBA history. Funny enough, Tim Duncan was actually close to joining Orlando to build a Big 3, but now he'll have to face off against the Magic's new trio. Many had San Antonio winning even with Manu being gone, but when Tony Parker suffered an injury that would sit him out for 3 games, it set up the Magic to go for the kill, and that's just what they did. McGrady wins his most difficult game, a Game 6 in San Antonio. Tracy McGrady finally has won a championship and Finals MVP. Not only that, but he also won a regular season MVP in the same season. While it's utopia for Orlando, the Spurs suffered their most frustrating finals loss, a series that they were heavily favored, just out of reach. After missing the playoffs due to injuries and Kobe and Shaq having real beef, the Lakers end up with the first pick where they select Chris Paul out of Wake Forest. People were dying to see Kobe and CP3 play together when the potential trade got vetoed, but now it'll happen while they're both young. As for Shaq, many wanted to see a new Big 3 in LA, but Shaq still wanted out. He would end up going to the Orlando Magic. The Orlando front office, even after a ring, makes a risky decision to improve the roster. Now the Magic have Nash, T-Mac, and Shaq, and the Lakers have CP3 and Kobe with depth. And the Magic get a crafty young prospect in Lou Williams, while also drafting Channing Frye at pick 30. The Magic still end up filling the roster with shooters, but instead of surrounding Dwight, the shooters spread the floor for T-Mac and Shaq while utilizing Steve Nash's passing. Surprisingly, the 2 electric and best teams in the league is the Clippers and Wolves, Minnesota being led by prime Kevin Garnett, while the Clippers are being led by a prime Gilbert Arenas. In this universe, the Clippers don't have all their players injured, and if Arenas can end up with a ring, maybe he can talk a lot of trash on a podcast later in his life. In the second round of the playoffs, we finally get a D. Wade and LeBron playoff series. The first seed Cavaliers were expected to win, but with LeBron winning the 1v1 battle against Wade and Caron Butler averaging 22 points against Cleveland, the Heat end up with a surprise win, advancing to the conference finals. And the Magic, even with McGrady missing games 6 and 7 due to an ankle injury, win the series against Jason Kidd and the Nets to play LeBron in the third round. In the conference finals, both Nash and McGrady fouled out in Game 7. Shaq needs to lead his new team to the finals, or LeBron will make his first finals appearance 1 season before he actually did in real life. In the end, Shaquille O'Neal leads Orlando past Miami, narrowly beating out a young LeBron in the clutch of Game 7. In Orlando's second straight finals trip, they face off against the one-man team in the Garnett-led Timberwolves. And like everybody expected, the big three of Orlando completely outmatched a solid Timberwolves team. Shaq, after joining Orlando, wins a ring in 2006 just like he did in real life, while T-Mac wins his second straight finals MVP with a finals run that saw him average 34 points a game on 48% from the field, while Kevin Garnett drives home disappointed after his MVP season wasn't enough for a ring. In the draft lottery, the Hawks end up taking the first spot while the Nuggets look to get some type of talent on their roster, as all they have is a 22-year-old Andre Iguodala and a 37-year-old Gary Payton. With the first pick, the Hawks select LaMarcus Aldridge to pair up with a young core of Ben Gordon, Jason Terry, and Danny Granger. The Nuggets select Paul Millsap, Pacers end up with Rudy Gay, and the Grizzlies take Rondo. And of course, the New Orleans Hornets select Andrea Bargnani, one of the greatest busts in NBA history. The Orlando Magic select another shooter in Daniel Gibson in the late second round to give T-Mac more help. The only free agency move of note is Gilbert Arenas going to Boston after being tired of the Clippers always disappointing in the playoffs. Coming off their 2 rings, Orlando struggles mightily in the 2007 season. Due to Shaq and Nash getting old, both of them battling through injuries as their talents declined. The Magic signing of Nash and trade for Shaq was a win-now move, but they didn't really think about their future. The season was a wash for the Magic, resulting in a 44-win season where they finished as the 6th seed and got bounced in the second round by LeBron and the Heat. The only positive is that Lou Williams showed some promise, scoring 38 points in Game 5, where the Magic still lost and got eliminated. In the finals, Dirk and the Mavericks beat D-Wade Cavs in 7 games, Dirk winning Finals MVP to cap off his amazing 2007 season. The Rockets end up winning the 2007 draft lottery since they never ended up getting Tracy Mcgrady. And because they already have Yao Ming, they don't need Greg Oden or Al Horford, meaning Houston is getting the lanky young scorer from Texas. The Bulls get Horford and Greg Oden goes to the Bobcats. Maybe if he stays healthy he'll be good, but I doubt it with Charlotte's luck. In a massive free agency pool that includes LeBron James, Yao Ming, D-Wade, and Carmelo, and a whole lot more, there was bound for big changes. The biggest of which was Yao Ming and Chauncey Billups both joining Denver. Amari Stoudemire joins Carmelo in New York 4 years early, and Vince Carter joins the Clippers to most likely get hurt short of the conference finals. We're going to go quickly on to the rest of T-Mac's career because there isn't much to talk about sadly. The last real year of note is the next season. In 2008, T-Mac had his best season of his career, winning MVP and averaging over 35 points a game for a Magic team that saw both Nash and Shaq get injured, which became the story of McGrady's career. Even when he was healthy, his support pieces would routinely go down. T-Mac never went on to win another ring, but he had a lot of singular success, going down as a first ballot Hall of Famer with a long list of accolades. T-Mac ended up having a far better career with no injuries, going down as one of the greatest players of all time.